All right, here's our final 5.2 video, and it is focusing on how can we look at an equation and know how many x-intercepts it has without actually grabbing a calculator. Although you are always welcome to graph this on a graphing calculator or Desmos if you need to, but I just want to show you a shortcut. So if you have something like this and the question just wants to know how many x-intercepts, obviously first you're looking for your x's. We have a couple different things that happen though here. If you have, I'll mark the screen up a little bit. I want to really focus in on this factor right here. If you have x squared plus any number, and you're trying to set that equal to 0, let me show you what happens. If I get x squared by itself, I'm going to subtract 16 on both sides. If I take the square root of both sides, first thing you should realize is I'm going to get something that's imaginary because I have a negative under a square root. Anytime you have an x squared plus any constant, I'm just going to use a c for constant, it will have no intercepts from that factor. No intercepts. Just going to write it like that. Now, if you don't remember that, you can definitely graph it on your calculator and you will see there is no x-intercept that comes from that factor. Now, we do have an x-intercept that comes from this factor, -2. This one, x squared minus 2, you will have an x-intercept. You'll actually have 2 of them. Let me show you what happens when you solve x squared minus 2. If you set that equal to 0, you get x squared equals 2. Take the square root of both sides. You do get solutions here. You get plus or minus the square root of 2. So this is actually going to create 2 x-intercepts. This is going to create 1 x-intercept, and this one's going to create none. Again, if you want to grab your calculator and type it in and check and see how many times it crosses the x-axis, you can, but it's much faster to be able to look and know exactly where those solutions will come from. So we have 3 solutions, 3 x-intercepts is my answer. And it'll kind of go through and it'll even show you what happens kind of with the first every piece. It'll even talk to about the imaginary ones if you'd like. It doesn't want you to find where they are, so you can actually save yourself time just by counting. So if you look at this one, you are going to get an x-intercept here because if we set x squared equal to 0 or even -4x squared equals 0, you're going to get an answer. You're going to get 0 as an answer. That's 1. You're going to get an answer here. You're going to get 2 answers with this one because when you add 6 to the other side and take the square root, you're going to get plus or minus the square root of 6. You're not going to get any from this one because it's an x squared plus a number, and you're going to get 1 over here. However, the one you have over here is the exact same as the one you have over here. So that is actually repeated. I don't want to count it twice because it's only one place where it crosses or touches the axis. So I've got, if I'm doing a tally here, I've got 1 from here. I've got 1 here that's also the same as over here, so I don't want to mention it. I've got 2 here, and I've got none here. So it has 4 x-intercepts. Again, you could graph it on your calculator and see the same thing. And it even mentions, if you go down a little bit, that x plus 6 repeats, so you're not going to get another x-intercept because it's the same one. Let me show you just a couple more. So this one, I like marking it up for you guys. So this one has a solution here with this one. None here because that's going to be imaginary. It has a solution here. It has 2 solutions here because it's x squared minus, and it has a solution here, but it's the same as this one, so we're not going to count it again. So this one has 4 solutions, 4 x-intercepts, and again, it'll take you through all the work. Here's a really easy one. This one only has 1 because there's only 1 factor. Let's see, what else do I want to do? That one has a repeated. I want to show something different. There's a lot of repeated ones in here. Let's do this one. This one's a little different. So this one is going to have a solution from here. That's 1. It's not going to have any solutions from here because that would be imaginary. This one, you're going to get x equals -2. You're also actually going to get it twice because x plus 2 squared means you have an x plus 2 and then another x plus 2. It's only going to count as 1 x-intercept. So you have 1 x-intercept here, just happens to be repeated, 1 in the beginning, and none with that middle factor. So this one only has 2 intercepts. And again, the other nice thing is you all should own graphing calculators. You should all be able to graph it on your calculator and see, but you can actually get away with doing it without a calculator by looking at each factor individually. That is the end of the section.